Welcome to the show, everyone. So anyway, in the studio tonight, we've got a lot of people here. Well, Zilla's in the isolation booth. No, we've got Jeremy and Becky, as well as John here. James is here, and RJ's over in the back. He doesn't like to talk. Welcome to episode 7 of In-Game Chat. This is actually episode 2 of In-Game Chat, but we'll call it episode 7. Welcome to episode 8 of In-Game Chat. Episode 9, 10, 11. Is that where we're at? We're at 11, 12, 13. Episode 14. Episode 100. Woo!
And we had values.
We got Jeremy and Dennis and Daniel. David, are you there?
I'm here. I don't know who this David is.
This is the exact same thing as when the dog begs at the table and you give him food.
Yeah.
Now you know what's going to happen every single time there's a beta. We're going to come on the air and we're going to beg.
That was the most serious conversation over a game of Bomberman and Xbox Live that you could possibly imagine.
27 people in this hotel room. We're going to try and do a podcast here.
Ghost Bear, Sandman,
Zoanon.
Unknown A.
I'm Gambit.
Mr. Slim.
No, I'm not Gambit.
I'm Gambit. Everyone hates me.
Mr. Slim.
Rogue Hunter, Annie Inko,
Origami Panther.
Orion Off, Dave, Alias Unknown,
W Crash.
Killer On,
Thrak. Jackal.
Chronotic,
Dead End.
Gaz, Trax, Zero, Slipstream,
I'm Mike B.
Squish, PA Penguin,
Backseat Killer.
Psycho Boy 2.
Straximus.
And we've got Bone behind the scenes.
Clip 23.
Thank you, Jesus.
Boy, what was that?
There's something in the wind. If you turn your nose a certain way, you'll catch a whiff of it.
What we're trying to say in that is that this is the last episode of Evil Avatar Radio as you've known it.
Hey guys, welcome to In-Game Chat.
I'm Scott.
I'm James.
I'm hungry. And I'm RJ.
Hey, how's it going? It's Roman from Grand Theft Auto 4. I am a loser.
On the phone right now with us is Amy Hennig and Neil Druckmann from Naughty Dog.
You're going to tell us you've cast Nathan Fillion as Drake, right?
No, I will not tell you that.
They're the opposite of triggers, whatever the hell that is.
A Trogger?
Thanks, guys. I'm a big fan. My name is David Hayter. I live in Los Angeles, California.
Next thing I know, it's on Netflix, and I'm like, all right, what the hell?
Thing I know.
On the phone right now is Rand Miller.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me.
Wow. Mike Wilford and Josh Baer, both from Twisted Pixel. Hey, guys.
Hey, how you doing? What's up, man?
Hey, that was Nolan North, by the way.
You guys keep it up, man. You'll end up on G4 or something with your own show.
You know.
You okay? Tommy Tellerico, are you there?
Yo, I am.
Hey, Tommy.
Did you break your mic?
No.
You broke your mic!
I did.
Kevin Murphy and Bill Corbett from Riff Tracks, also from Mystery Science Theater 3000.
It was Vienna, I believe. You were wearing blue. It was during the war. And candlelight over the Danube running high. Hey, this is Mark Hamill. You got to check out In-Game Chat. It's great. And that's no joke.
I like to connect Star Wars.
What the hell is wrong with you?
As to our regular audience and those tuning in live for the first time in a very long time, welcome to In-Game Chat.
Let's do this. Leroy Jenkins!
And welcome to In-Game Chat for Saturday, January 20th, 2018. It is Season 12, Episode 2. I'm Scott.
I'm RJ.
I'm Sarah.
I'm Nathan.
And I'm Matt.
It didn't really matter which one of you went. It was fine. This is episode 400 or 500.
Thanks, Scott.
Already blew it.
I already screwed it up.
Let's restart.
Oh, I already screwed it up. Yeah, it's episode 500. 500 episodes, 500 times that we have come to you mostly live.
And we're still messing up.
We used to pre-record though, didn't we?
For a while.
Yeah. By the way, I'm also using my phone right. If you can see this on the camera, I'm using my phone, and I'm Facebook Living this whole thing I don't know how long I'm going to Facebook Live this thing, but I'm Facebook Living the whole thing at our Facebook page. If you go to In-Game Chat's Facebook page, you will see things and probably hear things that you don't normally hear by watching the stream on Twitch.
Or maybe you want to.
You know, stuff like that. I'm going to turn your guys' mics up so
yeah,
it'll be...
since we're splitting it.
Yeah, exactly. And we got 6 people watching now after I said that. No. Let me get through the whole thing. This is episode 500. If you'd like to get in touch with us, our number, I'm reading this, by the way. You can see all this. If you'd like to get in touch with us, our number is 334-272-9228. You can check out ingamechat.net for all the links to get in touch with us. You'll find us over at Twitter at InGameChat. You can also find us on Facebook there as well. Like I said, we're live streaming. We're broadcasting live on Facebook right now. And hello, everybody watching us on Facebook. You can email us, everyone, at ingamechat.net. We are streaming right now on Twitch. We talked about that. Twitch.tv. Go there, type in In-Game Chat in the search bar, and then you'll be able to find us. The easiest thing to do, the easiest thing that's always been easy to do, is just go to our website and click the link there, ingamechat.net, and then you'll find the link to our Twitch broadcast, where you can watch us and join in the chat room. And if you've been a part of the chat room before, we would love to see you back in the chat room again. It would be wonderful to have everybody back in there. In fact, how many people we got in there already so far? Let me look at this. Good bit. Would love to see some more in there as well. So jump on in, everybody, if you want to get into the chat room. There's a look at the chat room there. What else? This is episode 500. We are all dressed really fancy, and there, except Nate. And and just to turn it around to Facebook Live so you can see me, there I am. We're all dressed up for this. I was going to do a tux, and that did not pan out the way I wanted it to, but I figured a suit would be just as good.
If only you had a couple of months to, of knowing this was going to go down.
I had a massive amount of time, but I procrastinated on a lot of stuff lately, and
then Mother Nature stepped in too, so don't forget that.
I can't really blame her since I had a lot of time to prepare for this, and I didn't do anything about it.
Given that you first said you'd wear a tux on the 300th episode?
Exactly. So I've had that long to get ready for this thing, and I didn't do anything. So
I don't own a suit.
Really? You don't own a single suit? Wow.
You and Lethal Migraine.
What do you do when you have to, get spiffy for stuff?
He doesn't.
I have dress shirts.
When you get invited to a wedding, or you don't really get invited to a funeral, but when you get invited to a wedding or have to go to a funeral or...
I have a dress shirt and tie, but I don't have a suit or a full...
So you've got a coat and a shirt and a tie.
I don't have a coat.
You don't have a coat?
No sport jacket or nothing like that, just...
Okay.
Haven't officially needed one yet, so...
Really? I forget you're
young.
15.
26 now.
That's only off by 10. Medusa's Mirror says in the chat room, and which, by the way, that is Sarah. That's who that is. Says she likes dressing up. I actually don't mind dressing up as well when there's a function for it or an event for it or something like that. Day-to-day type stuff, which I used to do when I worked at the movie theater. I was one of the managers there. Day-to-day type stuff was annoying. But I did it anyway. So I'm glad this is only kind of a once every so often type thing. So I hope that today we will hear from the thing that I had planned for this was, for our 300th episode, we had a lot of people call in who had been on the show before. You heard a lot of them in the opening montage there. And we had a lot of people call in and just say, hey, congrats on 300 and everything else. We heard from Amy, and we heard from, I think David Hayter called in, and we heard a lot of people in the business and people who we've had on the show before call in and give us a congratulations. I didn't want to do that for this episode. What I really, really wanted to try and do, and it didn't get as many as I was hoping. I really wanted, and that's the reason we have this camera set up. By the way, there's my hand. That's the reason we have this the camera set up for Twitch, and this, you can see the camera there, is that I wanted to have everybody who had been involved with the show on the show. I kind of wanted to do a nice big reunion. We haven't had Jeremy in here or Dennis. James hasn't been in here in a while. Since I think we've talked about Prey was the last time he had joined us for this one. And Jeremy and Dennis haven't been in a while, and I was hoping they would show up. I was hoping Kevin would be able to drive down and show up as well. But a lot of them couldn't. Jeremy It's his wife's birthday today, so happy birthday, Becky. But he and Becky got engaged on this show. I can't remember when it was.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Yeah.
They got engaged on this show. I proposed right there. He was sitting there, and he proposed to Becky, and they got engaged, and I did their wedding, complete in a Friar Tuck outfit. Not kidding on that one either. We did it over at ASF in the Shakespeare Pavilion thing over there. So I was really hoping to have them stop by, come in, just whatever. I'm hoping then that these people will call and talk to us, and we can all just reminisce and nostalgia. I don't want to make it a best of where I played a bunch of clips and things like that. I just wanted to, kind of have a normal show, but still talk about the fact that we've been doing this for 500 episodes. Basically, just rambling on is what I'm doing right now. Like I said, we are streaming on Facebook Live right now. 4 viewers watching Nate.
If you got to watch somebody.
It's true.
I see you leaning in there. I can get you in there, Matt. It's no problem.
I'm just trying to get to the, mic.
Oh, yeah, the microphone. And then Sarah drove in from Birmingham.
Hello.
All the way. And
Appreciate that.
She's here with us. She's been on the show quite a few times, so she is, of course, included. And then there's RJ in his usual seat over there as well. I'm kind of explaining this on Facebook Live. Everybody listening on the radio has no idea. Something I haven't done yet, and I need to do. So will somebody take the Facebook Live camera, please? I have to do this, as usual. Is that lined up on the camera? Can you see that okay on the camera?
Yeah. A little bit.
Yeah.
Everything's good there?
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. I do that. Look at that. 500 episodes. Wherever it is, 500. So, there we go.
Not 501.
Nope, 500. So, that's pretty much it. And we'll see you next Saturday.
Good one, guys.
Bye.
Just came in to do that real quick,
Cheers.
and now we're done. You wanna be cameraman for a while with that?
All right.
You're more than welcome to. If you don't want to, that's fine. I'll
good.
take it back.
I'm thinking for the next episode that I should dress up as a stormtrooper for the 500.
The next episode for the 501st.
Yes.
I see the significance.
Yeah.
That would fit.
See what I did
that
there?
Would
I
fit.
get it.
That would
Very
fit,
nice.
actually. Yeah, very nice.
You should do that, and we'll laugh at you trying to sit down for 2 hours.
I'll support it. I'll give you $5.
Will you add to our Patreon?
No, just
No, don't add to our page. We'll never see it
Yeah.
because I haven't taken the money out of that account for the Patreon. I've just left it sitting there because I still feel bad about. I don't know. I feel weird taking money. It's just I don't know. It's always been strange. We've never asked for it, and then finally we opened up a Patreon because we thought.
Do you hate getting paid every week?
What, for the work that I do? No, not at all. But for this, it does feel strange. And I will tell you, it feels strange because we started in an era when people weren't getting paid to do this. We didn't have YouTube sponsorships or affiliate programs or any of that stuff. None of that stuff was going around. So, a lot of people wanted to support us, and we said, well, you can do that by donating to Child's Play or, any kind of little thing like that. We didn't want to do. We didn't want to take any kind of monetary gain for this thing whatsoever. And then that wave of things started happening where people were able to get paid for what they were doing, these hobby type things for what they were doing. People started getting paid for that through affiliate programs, through sponsorships, through all these different things. People were getting paid on YouTube for doing videos every day and that sort of thing. So we said, what's a way that we can monetize what we do? But not be intrusive about it, which is what YouTube does because of the ads. We hate those. And not have something that says, hey, pay us for here, we're taking donations or something like that. So Patreon came along, and we thought that's a good one. This gives people the choice. If they want to, they can. And if they don't have to. And if they want to do it just a one-time thing, they can. Or if they want to do it on a monthly basis, an episodic basis, whatever it is, they can do it in the way that they want to do it. And and initially we went with that, but even after a while, and we got a really good response to all of that, and it was wonderful to see. But over time, I still had not transferred the money from where Patreon was into an account where it was out of there, so I never did. It's still sitting there. I have no idea how much is there.
You should check on that.
I'm doing that right now.
Spigot's in the chat.
Spigot is in the chat.
Hello, Spigot.
Let's see, Patreon. Yes, Spigot's there. That is. I'm drawing a blank all of a sudden. Brock. That is Brock.
Yep.
And Moltal is there, who did a bunch of videos for us.
I mean,
he used to send us videos to ask questions back when, and to talk about how we started all this. Maybe I'll do that after we go to a break. Log in. I don't know that I remember any of my Patreon. Oh, it's all saved for me. Darn, I thought
That's convenient.
We need to verify this device.
He's very secure.
Well, you say open the link to the email to continue. All right, fine.
Riveting episode.
Are you trying to get into my phone?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, we're swapping the camera back.
Oh, I see. I see.
So bright.
I've learned the hard way. Don't go through people's phones.
Let me go to dashboard, see if I can figure out how much we've actually gotten on this thing. Yeah, when we started this back in 2015, man, that was a big one. Now we're down to, like you said, 20, what'd you say, 20 a month? Something like that?
21.
Yeah.
Negative $38.
Is there a total anywhere?
We owe.
There's no total anywhere that I can see. Patronage. Yeah, there's nothing that's given me like a full total of everything that's there.
You would think they would have that.
I would think so, and there probably is. I'd have to really look at this, and I haven't looked at this in a long time. So yeah, I'd have to look at this thing. But anyway, those who are still given to the campaign, thank you so much. We really haven't done anything with it.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's probably just you, actually.
Yeah.
At this point,
there are 4 people.
It's probably just you. So, can I have my phone back for a second? I sent out a message trying to see if we could rotate your phone. I know I can. I know what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
This is good. This is good.
Sassier than Roy Moore's horse.
So I just got word that.
Did you see that video about being fat and sassy?
No.
That lady in the snow.
I just got word that we can actually probably go commercial free for this show.
Awesome.
I don't necessarily know that I want to do that. Might be nice to have some breaks here in between to just kind of.
I say we just go with it and see.
Readjust, but
Well, I kind of like, plus I did the music.
That's true. You guys did send in music, so I think we'll keep it the way that it normally is, because I did ask for music from you guys.
Yeah.
I saw you were mugging for the camera. Did you want to mug for this?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
What's mugging?
He smiled
He's
at the
looking all
camera
fancy.
or something. Like, I don't know what it was.
Cheesing.
Oh, Anjanette is watching. Hi, Anjanette. She's watching on the Facebook Live thing. Anjanette's actually been on the show a long time ago, both on phone and maybe in the studio. I think she was just on the phone. She might have been in the studio with us, but yeah. So yeah, Anjanette's in, and like I said, I'm hoping we're going to hear from some of the guys who've been on the show. We might not. I don't know. They probably forgot that it was the 500th.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But I did ask everybody to send in music. I didn't contribute to the music here. So all of these tracks that you hear going into break and coming back from break are things that were selected by the people you see on the wide shot there on the Twitch feed, and the people you see here. Matt sent in 2. I got 1 from Nate. I got 2 from Sarah, and I got 2 from RJ as well. We're going to start with 1 from Sarah. This is from Banner Saga. We Will Not Be Forgotten. Why did you pick this track?
I really love the music in Banner Saga. This one is big and dramatic and also short. So you can get the whole piece.
Very short.
Yes.
It's 45 seconds.
It is.
Yeah, the tux thing. Yeah, STM Fuller's asking, suits but no tuxes. What is this, Casual Friday?
He punked out on me.
Yeah, and I'm sorry. So anyway, we're going to go to a break here, and then when we come back...
No regrets.
Yeah, no. Hey, look, for our 1000th episode... So I haven't decided.
Nude.
Yeah. See, for our 1000th episode, which will be years and years...
See, you say that.
Well, I mean, no, it will be. Literally, it'll be years and years and years away. because we can only do 50 episodes a year. 50 episodes. Even if we got every single episode in, 52 a year. And so, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Maybe in 10 years. 9 to 10 years, we would hit 1,000. If we go to 1,000 episodes, we're not sure. We may do a poll on this. We'll do the show naked, or we'll do the show. She's shaking her head.
I would do it naked.
We'll cover you up. You're fine. We'll cover you up.
We'll just do next episode.
Strangely enough, I can already tell I'll be busy that week.
We're gonna do the show completely naked.
Standing.
Or no.
The air conditioning's working.
We'll have standing desks.
It's cold in here. That's why. It's cold. It's just really cold in the room. No. Either nude. I'm using air quotes. Nude. Or we'll be in dresses. We'll be in drag.
How about both?
All right, you know what? I'll actually get my tux for that.
On that note, we'll be right back. Those of you watching on Facebook Live, we're not going to go anywhere. We're going to be right here. You'll still be able to hear us and everything else. So we'll be back with more of In-Game Chat right after this. This is We Will Not Be Forgotten from the game Banner Saga, which is a fantastic game, folks. The animation's superb. Love it. And welcome back to In-Game Chat. This is...
Can anyone guess what game it's from?
Oh.
Nobody? Oh. I get, yeah.
What genre is that?
What genre is this?
No, from the game.
Oh,
yeah.
JRPG.
Oh, I wouldn't know that.
No, you wouldn't.
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't know it all.
This is Chrono Trigger, called Wind Scene.
Yep.
The Wind Scene from Chrono Trigger. Spigot would have known. He's on the phone with us. I know he would have known. But this is Matt's choice for this one. Coming up for the next break, we have a selection from RJ's picks of songs. And we have another caller coming in. Let's go right now to Canada and talk to Brock Spigot.
Today.
Hey, congratulations.
Hey, thank you, man. Appreciate it. 500 episodes, and you've been with us since what?
Ooh, well, back in the Evil Avatar days, Evil Avatar radio days, so whenever it sort of morphed around back and forth there between Phil and you guys. So.
Well, I mean, if you were there since then yeah, you're probably with us from the beginning on that one.
Hey, Brock.
Hey.
Well, thanks for calling in. What's going on with you? Anything new?
Well, I was busting open over here with the question about what song that was because I definitely knew what that was.
I knew. Yeah, I figured you did.
I was like, come on, just let me answer that.
I figured you knew exactly.
They were
what
all
that
looking at me like with like deer in the headlights look.
I have still today never played that game, so
that's one of the best.
Although I think I can do that now on my SNES Classic that I picked up. Yeah.
Is it on
It's
there?
worth it, and it's not terribly...
Anything can be on there, Matt.
Yeah. Never mind.
Is it on the SNES Classic? It doesn't have to be...
I didn't know if it came
native. No, it didn't. But I will I will mod that thing shortly.
Oh, I thought it came on the SNES.
It may have. I don't remember. I don't know.
think it did.
It may have. It may have been on there.
Oh, wait. The SNES that I got from you?
Yeah.
I actually ended up giving it to a family that needed it.
Aww. You want my other one?
No.
Okay, fine. You don't want it at all? Did you mod it for them? Oh, you should have modded it for them. If they were in that much need, they needed more than 20 games.
No, I mean,
for cheaper, you could have just done a Raspberry Pi.
I just gave it to him as is.
Yeah. I still have an extra SNES Classic. That I don't know what I'm going to do.
I don't think it was on there.
I don't remember. What were the 20?
I'm seeing a lot of articles about why was it left off the Super NES Mini. So
Reddit Secret Santa?
Yeah.
Sure.
I did do Reddit Secret Santa. Yes,
Me too.
I did.
I
And I
actually
got
2 coworkers to do it too.
Nice. I got what did I get out of that? I got a bunch of comic books. Which I was going to bring one to you.
Okay.
Because it's Castle.
Castle, like the Nathan Fillion TV show Castle?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I just know you really like Nathan Fillion, so I was going to bring it to you.
Sure. I didn't know they had a comic series.
I didn't either till they sent that in, and I saw, oh, Castle's a comic book.
Talking comic or a graphic novel?
It's a collection of it's comic book.
Okay.
It's comic book. Right. Anyway, how was your holiday there, Spigot?
Oh, pretty good, pretty good. Didn't get anything too exciting on the gaming front, though I did get Drop Mix, which is kind of a video.
I kept seeing that come up as like, hey, it's cheap, they have Drop Mix, and I was like, what is Drop Mix? And I looked it up, and it's the Harmonix. It's Harmonix doing a card game, but it involves beats in your phone and all this other stuff.
Yeah, it's
Music.
sort of like a combination of a card game and an app, and it plays to their strength. It's all about music, and it's pretty fun.
Those of us watching, by the way, those of you watching on Facebook Live, by the way, you can't hear Brock on the phone because we have our microphones on, and that shuts off all the external speakers here in the room. So that's the reason you're listening to us respond and not hearing anything else. So, yeah, you've been with us since the beginning. You introduced us to a lot of obscure titles.
What I do.
Little indie titles, little indie gems and darlings and that sort of thing.
Let me ask you, have you played Fury yet?
Which?
On the Switch?
Which game?
Fury. F-U-R-I.
I think I have that on PS4 or the PC. I think it was a PS Plus game once a little while ago.
Yeah,
it was.
Have you played that or no?
Just a little bit.
Okay.
It's the one that's more fighting, kind of like a one-on-one combat stuff. You're doing a lot.
I haven't known anyone that's played it. I was thinking about
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I just played a little bit of it. It was interesting. It was quite my cup of tea, but it looked nice.
What have you played recently that you'd like to...
Just finished Nier Automata.
Oh, good Lord. When did you start that?
Well, I got the first ending back last year around September or so.
Yeah.
And then I sort of let it sit for a while, and then coming back after Christmas, I was like, what am I going to play?
Yeah, that game's about a year old for me as well, and I haven't done much with it.
So I basically just played through the rest of the main endings and wrapped that up.
You finished that up, didn't you, RJ?
No, I haven't even started that yet.
Oh, I thought you'd started playing that.
You'd love it.
No,
RJ.
I bought it. I bought it a while back, but I just haven't played it yet because I heard so much talk about it.
Yeah.
So I bought it, put it down, started playing something else, and it just went on from there. So yeah, I haven't even started the thing yet. But I know there's like multiple playthroughs of the game. It's like multiple endings, and I don't think the main ending comes to you get all the little minor ones first.
There's
Or
26
like
endings total.
Oh, okay, that's something else.
But there's only 5 of them are sort of the big main endings. The rest of them are kind of like little one-off joke things, like you do one little thing and it'll give you a little ending, and then you go back to whatever you were working on. But there's 5 main endings. It took about maybe 40 hours or so to do all of them.
Man, I last weekend I was at PAX South. Have you made it to a PAX yet at all?
No. I'd love to, but it just never quite works out.
Don't go. I would suggest don't go to Seattle PAX for you specifically. Yeah. Don't go to Seattle PAX. I would go to a PAX
like PAX East.
I don't even know about East now. I haven't been to East in a while. I've only been to East one time, and it's not because of the size. It's because of the people that show up there, and I don't mean the I don't mean the no. I don't mean the gamers who show up there. I'm talking about the kind of the developers that'll show up there. Because PAX South is such a smaller thing that you get a lot of little indie guys who can afford to buy the booth space because it's not as expensive as it is in Seattle, not as expensive as it is in Boston. And I think you would just have a wonderful time at something like PAX South. What was the game that I saw that I showed a picture of for you, Sarah?
Turok.
No, not Turok. It's the one with the little fox.
Yes.
And
it's
or is it a
adorable.
raccoon? Is it a raccoon or is it a fox? Is it? Oh man!
Give me a sec.
Well, I like watching his brain melt.
Yeah, it's not. I was like, it's a turban. No, it's not turban. It's I'm gonna forget. I have no idea. I can't
I'm actually
remember.
strongly considering going with you next year if you go.
PAX South. You should. I would love to have
Tunic.
Tunic.
And it's a fox.
See, I was thinking it's like it's this thing you wear. Tunic. Yeah, Tunic would be good. If you look that up, you can see that. I saw the next game from the people who made Stories, Path of Destinies, or
nice.
The Paths of Destinies.
That's
yes,
fantastic.
I tweeted about it because right now the name is completely. It's like Omen Sight or Other Sight, or I have to go there and look at it now. Notes would be helpful here.
You see, if I went with you, I would remember everything.
Right, you'd have all this stuff with me. And
I could be like the assistant.
Yeah,
taking
it'd be
notes,
fantastic if that was the
chasing you
case.
everywhere.
Getting the lattes.
Yes.
Yeah, amusingly enough, that is actually going to be my job in the future. Not for Scott, though.
Omen Sight. That is what it was called, Omen Sight. That's another one I think you would really, really enjoy, man.
Check it.
Yeah, so get to look that up. Plus, I played a lot of independent board games.
Yeah, that's what I'm actually a little more interested in going to like a board game convention these days than I am a video game one. So.
Gen Con.
Gen Con would probably be the one, although PAX now has a PAX called PAX Unplugged, which is nothing but board games.
I know Shut Up and Sit Down did one last year in Vancouver, so but that's kind of a bit far again for me to get to. But.
Played a great variant poker game called Drawing Dead, and that was fun to play. You basically build the best hand, and I can't go through the explanation of it on the air; it'd be very confusing. But rules of poker apply, except bluffing doesn't apply, and you're never actually out of the game. You can't. I mean, you can fold, but you never really lose all your money for it. So you constantly have chances to kind of come back. But it was fantastic that way. And another game, it was a dice game. Well, I played 2 dice games. One with a group that was in the hotel lobby called Roll With It, or Roll For It. Roll For It or Roll With It. I can't remember. Basically, it's these random cards that show up on the game board. I think you have like 4 cards that show up on the game board, and they have dice sides on each of them. Multiple dice sides on each of them. And you have multiple amount of dice. You roll them. If any of your dice come up with that number, you can put it next to that card and eventually claim that card once you fill it up with rolls that you get for it. So if a card has a 2, a 5, and a 6, you just keep rolling and trying to get that card before somebody else does, and that card has a point value, and the first person to 40 points wins. So that was a great little game played in the lobby. And then I played another dice game called Sagrada.
Oh, that's amazing. I have that.
You know about it. Fantastic.
Yep, I have that. It's great.
That is a great game.
Yeah, it's a beautiful game.
It is. It really is. And it was wonderful to play. This is the thing about the differences in the PAXs that I go to. PAX Prime in Seattle, I'll come back and tell you about a bunch of video games I had appointments with. I'll tell you about playing Assassin's Creed or playing South Park or playing whatever's coming out later in the fall. PAX South, it's a lot different. I go there and I play a lot of indie titles and a lot of
board games.
Yeah, a lot of board games too. Yeah. So that was fantastic. There is something called True Dungeon. Has anybody in the room ever heard of True Dungeon?
Yes.
Brock, have you heard of True Dungeon?
Is that a board game?
It is not a board game. It's D&D, but it's live action.
It's like LARPing,
but
LARPing? You actually have like a dungeon that you go through that they build.
That sounds like way better than an escape room.
I was going to say kind of like a haunted house. That
it was kind of escape room-ish.
It's escape room-ish. Like once you start, you're pretty much in it until...
Oh, that's neat. I've heard of other sort of games like that where people... I know there's one where someone's sort of done... Like you're either playing as an astronaut who's stranded on a spaceship, or you're the control room trying to get them back, and it's sort of one person's the astronaut's like in a different room, and you're communicating back and forth like that. I know there's things like that, but very cool. Like sort of the live gaming.
It was. I mean, you go in with a group, and it's and hopefully your group is enthusiastic enough to want to do that. Because I mean, you play the characters you get. You know, you play the characters. Then when they said that, they said, "Who wants to be the bard?" Because you need to decide who's going to be the bard now.
They have to sing
because they have to sing. And so I picked. Well, I didn't pick it. They just handed me the character cards. I went through the demo section of it because the slots to play this thing filled up fast. Mm-hmm. I mean, I had no idea. And it was odd because the group that I played the Roll For It game with in the hotel lobby, they were the ones setting up the True Dungeon. And they said, hey, you should come out and check us out on the second floor at True Dungeon. And I really wasn't that interested, but after a while I was like, sure, you know, because the show floor is small. For PAX South, it's not as big as everybody else, and so you can make it up to the third floor. And I went up there and did the demo thing. I was like, this would be cool if you got the right people who want to go through this and really take it seriously, probably just like an escape room. It'd be a lot of fun. But everything was taken. You could not get in. It was done. And so I went through the demo thing, and they just handed the character cards. They said, be as fast as you can, just take this, and then pass the group of them around so everybody gets a card. And I picked Rogue. And I got puzzle boxes to work with and stuff like that, which is right up my alley.
You must have been so disappointed with that.
Right, exactly. Except I kind of was, because for the demo, they basically didn't want anybody in the demo to lose.
Oh.
So, like, halfway through the puzzle box, he's like, hey, you did it. Congratulations. I was like, no, I'm still... No. He's like, nope, you did it. Here you go. And they gave me the prize for doing whatever so that I could help the other team with... doing the main puzzle of the room. And that was very, I mean, it was really, really like, it's like Fisher pricing us, you know, on the whole thing, where you just couldn't fail.
Everyone's the winner.
But that, yeah, you know.
My first dungeon.
Yeah. Participation trophies everywhere.
There you go.
But it really made me excited about actually doing one of the things. They only go to 4 places every year. And PAX South was on the list. Gen Con is the other one. And there's 2 other places they go that were not familiar to me, or even nearby.
It's not like a setup where, like, they have just a standalone place, you know, dedicated.
Like a building somewhere.
Yeah, it's a traveling show.
It's like a touring company of theater performance.
That's a shame. They should branch out into cities and just have I
think it's kind of young. I don't think this is very new for them. So I think it eventually probably will turn into something like that if it's profitable.
Yeah, the one they ran at Gen Con maybe a couple of years ago was based off of Patrick Rothfuss's Kingkiller Chronicles.
This was also Patrick Rothfuss.
Okay.
Of course, Patrick was there at PAX
right.
South.
Well, he was there at Gen Con, and they stayed to do one last session so he could run through it.
Oh, nice.
At Gen Con. One of my friends got to go with him on that. So
trip over his beard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a majestic beard.
Yeah. No, on the gaming front, I'm just sort of getting back into Assassin's Creed. And
how are you liking it?
I'm still relatively early because I haven't played it since December or so, maybe, or November. But I'm still just puttering around in Alexandria. It's great, but I'm rusty because I haven't played in about 2 months. So
I am I'm finishing out the last bit of a quest. I'm trying to 100% it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I have not. Oddly enough, since the last episode, I have only played. I don't even think I played Destiny.
Anybody getting Monster Hunter?
I'm kind of leaning to that, which is weird because that ain't my genre, man.
Yeah,
but
I actually did pre-order it. I've played them on the 3DS and the Vita and the PSP and stuff like that because they've basically been portable for the most part.
What's the release date on that?
Friday.
Oh wow, okay, sooner than I thought. Yeah.
There's a beta going right now though.
Yeah.
And I tried that out today and I was like, this is actually playable and fun. So I'm hoping this might be the version of it that I'll actually stick with and get a few fancy hats out of the dragon hide and stuff like that I harvest.
I just want to give an update here. Nate, your mom likes our video.
Oh.
Aw. Anyway. Hi,
Mom.
Sorry. Hi, Mom. Hi, Nate's mom.
Tell your mom we said hi.
Yeah.
So if anyone out there does get Monster Hunter World,
I'm kind of curious about it, and I don't know if I'm curious about it because hey, here's the new game that's only going to be new for a while because there's kind of a drought of of things releasing, which is the same reason that I picked up Nier last year, which I haven't played much of, but I've heard a lot of good things about that, and I'm curious. I'm really
try out
curious.
the beta, see if it grabs you.
Yeah.
It's not. I mean, it's still got a bit of that funky Monster Hunter kind of feel. It's done.
Oh, it is getting a PC. It's getting a PC release in the fall.
I think the next one I'm really waiting for is Far Cry 5.
I'm still going to work through Primal first. I haven't touched that yet.
That's in March.
I tried, yeah. I tried doing the Survivor hardcore realistic Primal.
Primal.
And I could, I was like, no. But the problem with that is, like, I'd already gone through a majority of the game. I was like towards the end, and then I figured hey, let me just try that, and it erased my save.
Oh no.
So.
Ooh, that's bad.
Yeah, so I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to go. I just uninstalled it.
Oh yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, I don't know. I might pick that up. It comes out Friday. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah. The way it'll sway me is when I see a bunch of other people playing it.
Yeah. Well, I know there's a few people that are pretty into the series that I know that are looking to play. So you'd have a few people, I think, if you did get it, that could probably help you out. So.
Those watching on Twitch see that Nate just got up and he's moved off camera here, but those watching on Facebook Live can see exactly why he did that. He's getting a wider shot of all of us sitting around in our suits doing our 500th episode. So, Spigot, thank you so much for calling, man. We appreciate it. We
look
appreciate
forward to 500 more.
I know, we appreciate all. What would you so on our 1000th episode, nude or drag?
I was saying mocap suits.
Mocap suits.
Like, the black body suits with the ping pong balls.
I know a few people who have worked in those. I might God, I would look. Oh,
I think that would be the more attractive option of the three.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if we're wearing mocap suits, might as well be naked. So anyway, thank you so much for your support for 500 shows, man. And it's been great having you call in over the years and hear about new games from you and get suggestions and get gifts from Steam from you and everything else that you've done. So,
well, look forward to many more years to this to come. So.
All right, man. Well, you have a great time and a good weekend, and I will we'll talk to you later.
You too. Have a great one.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Let's see. Who is on the other line?
Chris.
It's Chris. We'll go to Chris real quick. Hey, Chris.
What's going on? I recognize that music as well at the beginning.
Of course you would. Of course you would.
And of course you still haven't played it, have you?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah, that's one of the ones on the Super NES Mini that was really a slap in the face to all the role-playing game fans that from the Super Nintendo.
Because it wasn't on there? Is that the thing?
Yeah, it wasn't on there. They had Final Fantasy III, Secret of Mana, and why they wouldn't put the third of the top, I consider all three of those to be tied. That's the best ones to ever play on Super NES, and they can't put Chrono Trigger on there. I mean, really? And like I said, that's like a slap in the face with a plate mail gauntlet.
Maybe it's too popular. Maybe they can figure they can get some money off of it still.
I got to figure there's some licensing that needs to be done, and I really don't know.
Well, it was a Square Enix. I mean, no, just Squaresoft back then, but they had other Square games on there.
There's still probably something to do with licensing or something to do where it's like, we'll say this when we're not giving you. I mean, Square had to approve that, and so they're like, you can have the others, but we can't give you Chrono Trigger. They may have asked for it. We don't know the whole situation for that. Mm-hmm. All we do know is that we can mod the things ourselves and put it on there. So it doesn't matter what they did. We can still have it on the system.
Because it's just a fancy emulator.
Exactly. Really, that's all it is. And so we can do what we want with it and put about, I don't know, what was the max count we could get on the the SNES Classic? 20 or 30. I think you could go a lot higher than that.
Yeah, because from what I remember of the ROM sizes and stuff, they're only like 2 or 3 megabytes. The biggest role-playing games are like a couple megabytes in size.
I thought we could at least get about 100 on there or more, or was it 70? Maybe it was capped off at like 70 or something. Yeah,
on the NES Mini,
on the SNES.
Oh, Super NES Mini.
Because of the size of the memory card.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
that's why.
The biggest thing, last I was reading.
You need to come to a microphone.
That's why you get that's why you get a Raspberry Pi and just
No, I get that. I'm just saying.
Do it that way.
The last I remember reading was that they were trying to figure out ways to shrink file size.
Right.
Yeah.
I haven't looked it up in a while, so I don't know what the total is.
Yeah, because they could stuff the NES Mini, right? They could put every
I
game in the library in there.
630 or so NES games on my NES Classic.
Yeah.
Yeah, those don't take up no more room at all. I mean, those things, the ROMs of those are tiny.
I would imagine it's only a matter of time before, folks put all of the Super NES's library on that thing eventually.
Yeah.
I can't see it not happening.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, we appreciate you calling. We appreciate your support for
63.
You've been 63 is the total number on there? God, that seems small compared to what we put, but I mean,
now as of October, they were having issues doing more than 63. It would crash your console.
Yeah. Have there been any updates since October? Do you know? For the Hackchi mod, I guess. I don't know. It's something we'll have to look up.
I'll still say give it time.
Most people
Eventually
done,
they will.
I think right now is 98.
98, yeah, without having it crash or at least having some issues maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's what we're looking at for that one.
So a little less than 100.
Yeah. All right. Well, Chris, thank you so much for calling, man. As always, you've been with us since what episode?
I can't remember now. If I'd known y'all were years and years ago we were on the radio, I would have been listening to you then. But
well, you know what? When we come back, I'll kind of give a history of that. I'll give a nice little rundown of how we started and what happened, and then how we got back, and then all that stuff. I won't go into too much detail, but I'll talk about.
I was going to say, how much detail are we going to go into?
Not very much. Not very much. We'll stay within a safe harbor of that.
Because that's like one of my favorite memories.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Chris, thank you for calling, man.
All right, congratulations on 500. Now it's time for 1,000.
That's right. What do we do? Are we going to go in drag or are we going to go nude?
I don't know.
We have another option.
That. If you don't have cameras, I don't know. That's up to y'all. I couldn't comment on that.
Oh, there will be cameras regardless. Sarah's not. She's not happy about this. Well, Chris, thank you so much.
All right, y'all have a good afternoon.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Well, hang on to that because I'm going to have to send us to a break here. RJ, your song is next. Mm-hmm. This is from King of Fighters 14. Curie Kenton Flavor? Did I pronounce that right?
Curie Kenton Flavor. Yeah.
Curie Kenton Flavor. And then it had like some in parentheses, some kind of
Transcontinental Railroad stage.
Yeah. What do you like about this?
It's a remake of one of the songs from Fatal Fury 2. A character in there named Terry Bogard. His stage is on, basically, it's a fighting game, and you're fighting on the top of a train moving across the country, and you can see the Mount Rushmore in the background as it's going by. So it's pretty nice music. I've always liked it. And
do you see other monuments? Do you see other national
No,
things?
just that one. It's out the desert somewhere. But it was always one of my favorite songs from Fatal Fury 2. And then years later, King of Fighters 14, they made a remake of it, so I picked it for this one.
Okay. All right. Well, this is RJ's song, and we're going to go into a break. When we come back, I'll talk a little bit about how this whole thing started 500 episodes ago and what has gone on in between those episodes. I'm going to run downstairs and get coffee, though. Remember, if you're watching us on Facebook Live, you will see everything going on during the break. And but if you're watching us on Twitch, then you won't see any of that. You'll hear the commercials coming up. But if you want to watch us on Facebook Live, go to our in-game chat page on Facebook, and you'll be able to watch it there. We'll be right back with more of in-game chat right after this. I swear I clicked that button. And welcome back to In-Game Chats. This is Nate's pick. He really loves this.
It was good. It was a fascinating night. That whole...
This is the live performance of a track from, I guess, God of War. When they did it for E3, was it this year? Or was it last year?
I think it was like 2014.
2014? No.
15?
It was 2016 or 2017.
I thought it was further than that.
No, I think it's 2016. Yeah, I think it's 2016 is what this is from. So, during the E3 conference. Anyway, welcome back to the show. Enginet says I look so handsome. Aw, shucks. Aw, thanks.
2016.
That's what I thought it was, 2016. Why did you pick that track?
I loved it.
Okay.
That whole moment, like that night we were watching E3, like just it was... I don't know, it was just really...
That was the first E3 that I didn't attend, I think. That was the first time I'd stopped attending E3 from like
and then,
many, many times going.
And then all the announcements after that, it was just... I like
it was a good show. It really was.
Yeah.
And honestly, it was better than I think what we got from this past year.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't necessarily strictly mean from Sony. I think it was from everybody.
Oh, yeah.
This past year's E3 was... And I wrote about this on our show post for that specific time, was that kind of lackluster, kind of deflating, I guess, or just not as amazing I thought it would be. So, anyway, so history of our show. This is our 500th episode. For those of you watching on Twitch or watching on Facebook Live, we all dressed up for it. For those of you listening on the radio, just imagine. I'm in a suit, and Matt's in a suit, and Nate's in a hoodie, and it's a nice hoodie. Yeah, it's respectable. And RJ's in a suit, and Sarah's in a fantastic dress. Got her hair done, got her nails done, and look at the jewelry. Look at that. The microphone's in the way. Look at that jewelry. Look at that. It is nice.
Spiffy.
Jeremy.
Hey, it's Jeremy. Let's talk to Jeremy before we go. In fact, it's fine if I go into history because he was part of it. But hey, Jeremy.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Going pretty good.
Cool. Congratulations on 500 episodes.
Well, thank you. And
tell Becky we said happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday to Becky.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Wish you could be here because I know that the two of you got engaged on this show. That is right? You proposed to her on this show, right?
No, I think you're remembering wrong there.
What am I... Did you get... No, it was the night before maybe or something? Because you came in... Because I remember James got a PS4 that day.
Yeah.
And he... and he was all excited about that, but, you had a ring. Or she got an engagement ring or something. I can't remember. I want to say it was... I thought you guys got engaged on this show.
No, it was at the Christmas party at ASF.
That you got engaged. And I guess maybe...
We're just going to insert ourselves into your life.
We are,
randomly.
really. We are.
Why not?
I really am trying to remember how it all played out, but I could have sworn that you got engaged on this show, so...
Well, if you want it to be that way, we can say it was.
Sure, all right. You got engaged on the show. Congratulations. It's been a wonderful marriage for you guys, and yeah. No,
I remember he got married on the show.
He didn't get married, yeah. We haven't done that yet.
I thought it was the first child.
I said
first child was born on the show too.
I mean, I got the power.
Yeah.
And I've done a.
Now, do you have the touch?
I've done a wedding on the air before. Just not on
you
show.
did do our wedding, so
I did do your wedding.
There is that, yeah.
Yeah, I did do your wedding, and really wish you could be here because I was just about to go into the history of how the show started and everything else that went on, including the time that we stopped doing it for a while, and then when we stopped doing it or started back doing it. Not so much detail on the why we stopped, but So
yeah.
Anyway. What have you been up to in, God, I don't know how long it's been since you've been on the show, but what's been going on with you?
It's been a long time, man.
It has.
Just life, family stuff, working, all that good stuff.
Yeah?
Yeah. And game-wise, most recent thing I played was, I got around to playing Kentucky Route Zero, which I didn't realize until I started. The fifth act isn't out yet, and
no, it's not.
First act came out like in 2012 or something.
Yeah,
I was really surprised. So, yeah, hope that last one comes out soon because I'd like to finish that up.
Yeah, I think it will eventually. They seemed because when the fourth episode came out, everybody was surprised. They don't really put much fanfare behind it or any kind of promotion saying it's on the way.
Yeah,
they just release. That's pretty much it. So
it's supposed to be out this year, so we'll see.
Have you reloaded Division?
Not yet. I gotta get around to doing that. Maybe later this evening.
I did that last night, and then I loaded it. I started playing it, and then I remembered I'd forgotten everything about how to play that game. And because I've been too much in Ghost Recon and some other stuff, where I'm like, okay, what does my armor do? What is my? I totally brain dumped that.
Yeah.
It happens.
Well, yeah. When James suggested, we maybe check out the new stuff, I was like, well, I already own it. Why not? It's something to do together. Yeah. Let's do it.
It is. Destiny was probably one of the most recent things you played. Destiny 2, anyway.
Yeah.
I have not touched that in a while. Since I left for PAX and gotten back, I still haven't touched it, and I still see where they're just stepping on their toes and everything as far as Bungie's concerned to kind of.
I haven't played it in a little over a week. I got sick for a little bit, and
that
I
happens.
didn't go do it. Yeah,
that happens.
But it's still there, ready to fire up if we want to go do a raid or something.
Well, man, you are welcome on the show anytime. You're welcome to call into the show anytime, obviously, and you're welcome to come in and be on the show anytime you want to, ever at all, for whatever reason.
Thanks, man.
You want to talk about mod stuff? We can talk about mod stuff. That's fine. Because we were just talking about mod, doing the little, and I know it's kind of, I use the term Fisher Price. I know it's kind of my first mod when you do a NES Classic or a SNES Classic. But
that's still legit. I mean, that's cool, getting all that, loading all those games on there.
But there's some deeper ways you can do that stuff that are just fascinating to me. So feel free to bring that to the show and talk about that if you ever want to come back on or anything you want to. It's all yours, man.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Well, have a good one, and tell Becky
too.
We said hello and happy birthday, and she was a part of this show too, and we'll talk to you later.
All right, have a good one, guys. Congratulations.
All right, man.
Thanks, man. Take care, Don.
Bye.
And online too.
Cooter.
Oh, hey, Cooter.
Hey, Jay. How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. How's it going with you?
I'm doing good. I'm glad you're feeling better.
Oh, I'm feeling tons better, yeah.
I just wanted to wish you congratulations, man.
500 shows. Yeah. I'm about to go in the history of that, but it's going to sound strange because we started in 2007, so you'd think we'd have a lot more than 500 at this point. But I'll go into that and talk about that here in just a bit. But I appreciate that. Thank you.
I told him a while ago, I said, Jay's been doing this for 10 years now. That's a long time, Bubba, to be coming in every weekend to do that.
I've been here at this radio station since September 25th of 2000.
Wow.
I've been at this, I say this radio station, the building, which, I mean, it's still got the same stations, but of course, frequencies change, call letters change, and numbers change, and things like that. Titles, formats change, all this stuff, but it's all the same equipment. It's all the same building, and I've been here for that long. So
that's something to be proud of, Jay.
Very long time. Thank you.
Again, congratulations, and keep going strong.
All right, man. We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, so the history of this thing, in the beginning. Who wants to hold the phone while I do this? Because I'm going to be handsy when I talk. as I almost always am.
I messed it up.
You messed it up? What'd you do?
I don't know.
There you go. You're fine. There you go. You're good. Anyway, so 2006, I want to say, because we started this in February of 2007. The reason I know it was February 2007 because it was just after Groundhog Day, and Crackdown was coming out, or almost out, or was out, and I know that released in that time frame for the Xbox 360, and that's where we got our opening music from, which is Crackdown. We used to give away almost a copy of that game a week. We used to do giveaways on the show. But me and James would come over and we would be playing Wind Waker or Mario Kart Double Dash on the GameCube or something like that, we'd sit and talk about games. And anytime we went out to eat and Jeremy was with us, we'd sit and talk about games. So, I mean, the conversation of games always came up. We were watching other people sit and talk about games online and throughout their conversations, not necessarily in podcast form, but they were just, in message boards and things like that. They were just having conversations. And I remember James and I talking about, boy, what if we could do this on the radio? Because I worked at the radio at the time. This was 2007. So I'd been here at least 7 years. And so I said, I guess I could ask him if we can get a slot on the talk station to do that and see. I mean, it wouldn't hurt to ask. And I was really nervous to ask for that. I was exceptionally nervous to say, hey, could I have a show on your talk station, which has been, at the time, it was 1170 AM WACV, which was like a legacy type of a frequency and everything else that had been doing news talk radio for a very long time. And there's no way they're going to buy into saying, hey, sure, you can go talk about video games. What are we going to call it? Because at the time we were on a website called Evil Avatar, which I don't recommend anybody going to that site ever again. There's very much bad blood between the owner of that site and ourselves, just for the fact of what he was doing with money. We weren't appreciative of that, and that's why we split off. A lot of us split off. It wasn't just us, but a lot of us from that site split off and created something else. But at the time, things were really cool there, and so I said, they're not going to go for, we could be Evil Avatar Radio, but there's no way they're going to go for that. It's just, I got to figure out a way to approach it and see about getting a show. So I came up with a plan that we would talk about technology. We'd talk about, they already knew I was big on buying up gadgets and different things and big TVs and home theaters and things like that. They already knew I was really into that stuff. And so I approached the general manager of the station at the time and I said, could you give us 2 hours? I think it was 2 hours. It might have been 3. I can't remember what it was.
I think it was 3 at the beginning.
But I can't remember if I asked for 3. I'm not sure what the block was that I asked for. I just, I approached it that way and said, we're going to talk about, I managed to mention video games, but I said, we're going to talk about, new technology and new gadgets releasing and just kind of like a technology show. That's what we're going to make it. And to my surprise, totally okay with it. Like encouraging it, just totally like that sounds fantastic. Yes, sure, go ahead. Well, come to find out is that they really liked local talk. They really liked this station to have more local programming. They wanted more of that rather than some of the satellite-fed stuff. And they continue to do that at this radio station that we broadcast from. They continue to want to encourage more local talk and to get things local, so that people get to listen to it, or that it's original programming type stuff that comes from here. And so, and I approached him with the name of In-Game Chat at the time, not Evil Avatar Radio, because Evil Avatar Radio was being done by a guy named Phil, who now works at Polygon, which is a video game review site. He was broadcasting out of Minnesota, I think was like a college radio station in Minnesota, and that's where he would do his. I could be wrong. Of the state or the area that he was in, but he was doing it at a college radio station, and the timing was great. And you heard some of it in the montage opening. We talked about this is one of the most important conversations over a game of Bomberman that we ever had, because we all logged on to Xbox 360's Bomberman to talk to Phil, because Phil wanted to approach us saying, I'm leaving the show to go work at 1UP. At the time, 1UP doesn't exist anymore. I'm leaving the show to go work at 1UP. I'd like to pass everything over onto you guys so that you guys can continue what you're doing. And so we became Evil Avatar Radio for a very long time. And we did get the gig. We got the show here. We were doing it on, it was weeknights. We were doing it like Monday night. It was like Monday nights. We've done the show on almost every night of the week now. Except Sundays, I think. I don't think we've ever done...
I don't think we did Sundays.
I don't think we've ever done Sundays. But we started, I think, on Monday nights at like 6 p.m. And we did that for at least an hour to 2 hours we would do it. And then the station sold the time slot to somebody else, and we kind of got preempted, so we moved it to Tuesdays or Wednesdays, one of the 2 days. And then the station got into a contract to run basketball games, which only sporadically would fall on our date because there were so many different games, and they played on pretty much every day of the week differently. And so we ran into that issue. We finally found Friday nights, and we were doing it on Friday nights for a while. And
were we doing it multiple times a week for a while also during that time?
No, we did it. There was only about 1 to 2 weeks that we did it multiple times a week, and I want to say it was around E3. We did like 3 shows during a week for E3 stuff to talk about. And we were doing it live here. We were recording it and then putting it up on iTunes as a podcast. And so that's going on for a while. We're on Fridays or something like that. And then we decide that we're not done once we're done with the show. We're like, let's keep talking. Let's keep going. And so we would go downstairs to a station, and we would and we wouldn't go live on the air at that station. We'd just use that station to record more stuff because we still would talk about a lot of things. And so we did that. So we had the show proper. Then we had the after show. Then we had the after show. And I think what we did actually was we did the show proper, right? And then about 3 times a week we would come in and do extra content.
Okay, maybe that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, extra. We'd come in and we'd record extra content that we would upload during the week to iTunes and stuff. Because for whatever reason, I can't imagine us doing it now, but for whatever reason, we could fill in like at least an hour and a half to 2 hours of talking video games. And so we did this. And eventually we had to stop. Some things came up, and I'm not even going to go into the details of those things because I don't need to go into the details, but we had to stop. At least we had to stop doing it here from the station. I didn't lose my job. Obviously, I still work here. But we did have to stop doing it from the station. So we moved.
Most of us didn't get paid.
I wasn't getting paid any kind of extra for any of this, and I'm still not getting paid any kind of extra for this.
It's a labor of love.
I use it as the privilege to be able to do this show because I do love doing the show. But we stopped doing it here at the station, so we had to find a new place to do it. So we went over to ASF because that's where Jeremy, who just called in, and James, who you've heard on the show before, they both worked over there, and they had space. So we went over there and started recording the show on afternoons at like 5 or 6 in the evening, once or twice a week, something like that. We'd go over there, we'd record a show, then we'd upload it, and there we were. We had our show. We started inside ASF, and then we moved outside of ASF into some trailers. We did it for there. After a while, we stopped doing that. I got the way the job situation worked out for me made it very inconvenient for me to have to go over there at like 6 o'clock at night to do the show. And so we moved it to start doing it on Saturdays at my house. I would literally rearrange the furniture in my house every Saturday to set up for James, Jeremy, Matt, and RJ all coming over to sit in my living room and record a show.
Dennis also sometimes?
Dennis as well. Yeah, Dennis would come over as well. So I had to rearrange everything to accommodate for that and set up. And that's when we started set up in camera and started broadcasting on.
And what year was that?
I'd have to go back and look. I'm going to say
1870 something?
No, I'm going to say probably in the 2009, 2010. Okay. We did that for maybe a year or 2 years, I think. And it was around 2013 that I was over at James' house dropping something off or picking something up, and we were talking about, hey, we're going to do a show this weekend. Oh, I don't know. And it came up of like, do you think we could ever get back on the air? And I said, I don't know. I got to ask him and see if we could go back on. And basically, at that point in time, we were either going to go back on the air or we were going to stop completely, because the way it was so sporadic, trying to get everybody together to come to my house on certain Saturdays. It just wasn't working out enough. We were skipping weekends, it was like, hey, we're going to do one this. We were starting to do like one a month, basically, which is, again, why we started in 2007 and only now do we have 500 episodes. Because there were times where we went a couple of months without doing a single show. And, you know, he finally said, he's like, if we can get back on the air, that's great, and we'll do it. Which he's not on now. But if we can't, then I think we should just stop. And I actually really agreed with him on that. I was like, yeah, I think we should too. If we can't be consistent with this, if it's just going to be like, you might get one this month, you might get one this week, we don't know, then there's no point. Being on the radio would give us more discipline into, hey, you've got to do this every week, and you've got to have a topic to talk about every week. We're still not disciplined in that regard, but you're gonna have to do it every single week, and you're gonna have to do a show. So I went back and I said, hey, is there any
2011
was when
at your house.
That's when we started at my house, 2011?
Around June.
Okay, so 2011 at my house.
At least one time.
Yeah, well, if it's 2011, then that sounds right, because it was 2013 when we came back on the air. And I asked, I went back to the general manager again, and I said, hey, do you think we could, with some stipulations, do you think we could come back and do our show again? And again, this is the same situation as the very first time I asked to do the show. I thought it was going to be, I was very nervous about asking for this. I really thought we're probably not going to get it, but it doesn't hurt to ask. That's the biggest thing I always walked away with. Never hurts to ask in these situations. If you don't ask, you don't know. So I asked, and just like last time, sure. There was this whole situation of, no problem. Go ahead. Yeah, as though it was no big deal. Carrying around the burden or the weight or whatever it was, or the guilt of something, thinking, they're never going to let us back on. They're never going to let us back. And then they did. And 2013, we came back on the radio. If you listen to the opening of the show, and you might have to go back and do this if you want to, because I don't think we're going to play it for the end of the show, but if you listen to the opening of the show, it follows that progression. You'll hear things like that part at the end when I said I like Connect Star Wars. You can hear the quality of the audio, because that was at my house. That was recorded at my house. All the guests that we had on while we were doing the radio here. The one part of the show where we go through everybody, where we talk about everybody who's in the room with us doing the show, we were in Seattle at PAX, and Jeremy was able to be there, and Dave was able to be there. Matt, you didn't go to that, did you? No,
nope.
You haven't been. But Jeremy came to that one, and we were riding high on that Evil Avatar radio thing, and I said, hey, let's do an episode, let's record an episode in the room. Because we weren't doing anything live. It's just something I could add to the end of one of our live shows. And we were able to fit like 30 some odd people in the hotel room in the Sheraton downtown Seattle. One hotel room, we got 30 some odd people in that room. And so that's you hear the little roll call go through of everybody we were able to fit into the room. So, and then there's the roll call of all the guests that we've had on over the years, and little moments that have happened, like the Connect Star Wars, like Matt's little the next thing you know, the next thing I knew, whatever his excuse for something embarrassing.
Watching Postal on Netflix.
Yeah. You said the next thing I know, I'm watching that. Yeah, right. Like the next thing you know. No, you intentionally did that. So yeah, that's pretty much how it all started. That's why after just being on the air for 10 years now, we only have 500 episodes. We only do this one episode a week, by the way. We only do it once a week. So even if we had been counting all those and been doing one there, we probably still wouldn't be at 1,000. But yeah, so doing it for 500 episodes, 10 years. It says season 12, which I know seems odd. But yeah, that's the way we came up with the math or something. Because last year was our 11th year. So yeah. Anyway, I see that Mott Weckorb is in the chat room. He was there. He's been there from the beginning as well. Yes, it was hot in that hotel room with 30 some odd people in there. Very much so. Can you imagine that group going back to Seattle, especially with their laws now? Anyway. So that is the history of the show, and we have to take a break. We're going into another one of Matt's tracks. This is from the game Outlaws. It's called Sanchez the Outlaw. Mm-hmm. Why this track, Matt?
I love the game Outlaws. It was one of the old school LucasArts first-person shooter games. It was right after they did Dark Forces. So this is before 3D polygonal characters. So they still use sprites. So that's how old this game is. But it is like straight up spaghetti western, heavy influence by Sergio Leone, and like the old Clint Eastwood trilogy, The Good, Bad, and the Ugly, and all that stuff. And I mean the music was just fantastic. It's just such a wonderful game. I wish they would remake it.
Good God, you posted a picture from back when we were doing it at my house.
Yeah,
Jesus.
I got more.
There's no need for you to post any more unless you've got one that doesn't have me in it, because that is, wow.
That was from 2011.
No, I know. Jesus Christ, I'm horrible. It's just weird when you see yourself from years ago and you're like, I can't believe that was me. God, that's horrible picture. It's really bad. It's really bad. I mean, I am Slobby McSlob, man. That's horrible. I mean, I guess obviously the difference here, I'm in a suit here, I was in shorts and a t-shirt there. But, yeah, so. Anyway, this is a
Here's
track.
one from ASF.
That's fun. Here's a track from Outlaws. We're going to take a break. And like I said, if you're watching us Facebook Live, no breaks there. But we'll be back with more of In-Game Chat right after this. And welcome back to In-Game Chat. This is music from Sonic Mania, called Theme of the Hard-Boiled Heavies, I believe is what this is.
Mm-hmm.
What is your inspiration here? What did you like about this?
Oh, it's just a fun song.
Just a fun song. Yeah. There you go.
We all need that.
I do think the difference in all the music we picked is interesting.
No, very much. Your final choice is coming up to close out. I needed something that was long, but I didn't want something that was like the first one we heard from King of Fighters. For him was like 5 minutes, but that's way too like just upbeat and doing all this stuff and everything else. So I was like, no, we'll go out on the.
That will slip on you when you listen to music like that.
Yeah. So anyway, welcome back to the show. So we were looking. Let's go to the phones real quick before we go any further. Who's on the phone, Matt?
That's Josh.
Hey, Josh.
Hey there, greetings from Germany.
Ah, hello.
Hello.
Congratulations to the 500 episodes.
Thank you so much, man. When did you start listening and pick us up?
Oh, that's not too difficult. I think I pretty much had you guys as my first podcast on the first smartphone I bought with my own money, and that was 012.
Oh, wow.
2012, okay.
Yeah.
How did you find us, though? How did you know about us?
Pretty much just searching video games in the browser for podcasts.
Yeah. We were early at doing this. We really were. I mean, other people were actually... Other outlets were doing this, but as far as radio goes, I don't think there's anybody else who gets 2 hours on, like, FCC-regulated radio to talk about video games like we do. I don't think any other show like that exists. I have to be very specific when I talk to PR reps, when I'm telling them, hey, what is this for? And I say, oh, it's for a radio show. They don't hear radio show when you say that. They hear podcasts. They hear iTunes. This is what they hear. And I have to be very specific. I say, this is a live call-in FM radio program. I'm very, very specific about that. A lot of the times when I've applied for media credentials to some of these things, I get people writing me back like, "No, you're not." What I was like, no, you're looking at us as a podcast. That is not the case. We are broadcast.
And then they're like, "Oh, okay."
And then they change. Yeah, they totally change it. They're like, "Oh, here you go. Then that's fine." It completely changed. How they apparently how they viewed us. So, well, man, it's been great to have you along since 2012, and it's been great playing Destiny with you and Destiny 2, and I wish you would get it on PC, but you're picking up Monster Hunter, though, right?
Yeah, for sure. I'm ditching Destiny 2 for now and going to Monster Hunter.
I don't blame you. I think I'm distancing Destiny 2. I think I'm ditching it as well for a while until they can get some things figured out and kind of... It'll be basically, it's kind of like year one. I put in more time to it this time than I did year one, but year one was done until, for about a month after it released, I was done with year one until Taken King arrived a year later. And that may be the case here. It may be a year later before I jump back into it when they release something saying, here's our 2.0 version of this type of thing. So,
yeah, even I am not playing Destiny 2 right now.
No, I don't, and I don't blame you for that at all. So, well, thank you so much for calling. We appreciate it, Josh. Have a great one over in Germany, and we'll see you online.
You're welcome, and take care.
Thank you. Who do we have here?
Speaking of international flavor, Moltile.
Hey, it's Moltile. Hey, Moltile.
Ahoy, hoy. How's everything going tonight?
Everything's going pretty good, man. Thanks for calling in. You're calling in from Ireland.
Oh, Northern Ireland, yes.
Yes.
So, close to the mark.
So it
looks like everyone's dolled up and ready to go. It's very nice.
Yes, we are. You got your suit on, or at least your birthday suit, right?
Oh no! I've got a nice jumper on at the moment.
So we've had
a nice jumper I got it for Christmas.
We've had Canada call in. We've had Germany call in. Now we've got Northern Ireland calling in.
And Montgomery.
And we had Cooter call in.
And Chris.
From Montgomery, and then Chris from Prattville. All right,
Jeremy.
cool.
Yeah.
And Jeremy, yeah. All right. So what's going on with you, man? Thanks for. When did you start listening to the show?
Oh my goodness! I remember running when I had a good leg instead of my bad leg at the moment when Evil Avatar Radio was going. So I was listening to it well before that I even announced my name, because this is the type of thing I do on the internet. I don't normally announce myself. I just sort of lurk, you know.
Yeah. We appreciate people announcing themselves. We like to know who's out there watching us and listening to us. We like to know everybody that's out there. I've tried to set up things where I could meet people at PAX and things like that, but nobody goes for it.
Oh no, but it's hard as well. You know, like especially if you're listening to a podcast when it's like for example, I just started up a new podcast at the moment with a bunch of people that supposedly came to my city about 2 weeks ago, and you know, it's just like I missed them. I missed them literally by a month because I'm listening to all their old podcasts. So I wouldn't be hitting yourself that hard in in yourself.
Oh. Well, we appreciate you being with us. You've done videos for us. You've done the E3 opening videos for us.
Oh, I wish I could do something for tonight, but I got a bit family got in the way and that sort of thing. So no, it was a great intro anyway. So I was actually really pleased that I had no part in it.
No,
just sit back and enjoy.
I would have loved to have had one, but I totally understand getting sidetracked on other things going on and just not getting around to it. I totally know how that is. That is exactly why you don't see me in a tux tonight, because I was totally going for that and didn't. I can pull off naked easy.
And Nate got off real easy, my goodness. And he's still wearing a hoodie. Like, my goodness, he snook it in. I thought he was wearing something nice and classy with a nice jumper with... No, it's got a hood on it.
It's got a hood on it.
Yeah, it does. It's got a hood on it. It looks classy on the front and party in the back.
Yeah, it's mullet all the way down, isn't it?
He's wearing the mullet of clothes.
Good way to put it.
No, seriously, guys, keep up the good work, and I will be listening for how many episodes are you able to get out onto the air.
If we get to 1,000, what do you want to see, nude or drag?
Honestly, I actually don't give a... I don't mind at all. As long as you're there, I will be here, and I will be calling in and singing my praises as per usual.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much for calling in, and thank you so much for listening all this time, man. We appreciate it.
No. Everyone, seriously, have a great night and go enjoy yourselves, especially when you're all dolled up like that. You look fantastic, all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so
we should go do karaoke after this.
Run the globe here. Now, both Nate and Sarah here have found their first emails that they sent in. So, for a long time, and again, you can't see this on. Well, you can see this on Twitch, but on the radio, it's hard to tell. There's a room behind Sarah and Nate, and if you can flip over there on Facebook Live, you can show them that room. And
big dark hole.
Yeah, basically, it used to be functioning. And that's where whoever was going to answer the phone would sit in there. And they would be able to answer the phone, and there was a microphone in there so we could listen, we could talk to them if we needed to, and they would tell us who's on the line, who's calling in, that sort of thing. And it was our phone screener, basically, is how that worked. And we lost that room to having
lightning.
Well, it wasn't just lightning, because lightning didn't actually kill that room. What killed that room is that we needed the parts that were in there to fix other parts that lightning killed.
So, in a way, lightning.
So basically, took that room out of commission.
But
we've had different people in there. Dana's been in that room.
I've been in there.
You've been in that room. I think Becky used to be in that room. Daniel's wife Sam used to be in that room.
That was the Island of Misfit Toys.
Yeah, you guys would just be in there answering the phones and then commenting every now and again. And
wishing we could be part of the group.
When we got back on the air, we didn't have anybody in there to do that. And so it was a while, but when did you send that? 2014. So we'd already been on the air maybe a year, or been on the air for maybe a year. And we got an email from Nathan, just out of the blue here on March 27th of 2014. Hey guys, I was listening to your show and heard you wanted to see if some local people would help on Saturdays. I helped assisting a radio show in high school and currently work at a hotel in Millbrook, Prattville, so I have no problem looking things up and talking to people on the phone. You still do a fantastic job of looking things up and posting them in the chat room. I appreciate it. I'm usually off on Saturday night, so I'm available. However, with spring break, I will have to work this Saturday. But after this weekend, I'm free. If you're still looking for help, you can also contact me on my cell. Then Matt forwarded to us, hey, I was wondering, I've been having issues in recovery now. I'm still good for coming in tomorrow. Yeah, we were all good about that, and we got you in there and set up, and now you're one of the team, man. And we appreciate you for doing that. How
did you hear about us?
Yeah.
The previous weekend, you guys, I had to go to Walmart, was scrolling through the radio, and all of a sudden I heard you guys talking about Tomb Raider. when they redid the series. Yeah, when they
the reboot. Yeah,
the newest reboot.
But then you guys started talking about stocks about the company or something of like how it affected the sale prices and stuff like that.
Well, we talked about. I think it was the fact that Square Enix said, "Yeah, we sold 2 million of those things, and that was not good enough."
Yeah.
And so I wasn't sure if I was hearing a video game show or just like a financial
type
show.
show.
And then I kept ran to the store, came back. You guys were still kind of talking about it, and then you.
When we pick a topic, especially when we had James, we could just go.
Yeah.
We just go for an hour.
Really, he would go for an hour. We just sit down.
Yeah. And then, so that was the first time I heard you guys. Then I just kept listening for a little while. That was way before that email. It was in 2013. And then I stopped listening. I don't know why. Then I started listening to podcasts. And then, the week before that, I heard you guys say that you were looking for someone to answer phone calls, and I was like, oh my goodness, I love radio. I was like, let's see if I can get back into that.
Which, speaking of, are you going to be able to join us on a more regular basis here pretty soon?
Possibly.
Back, you used to?
I might be going to a morning or first shift. It would possibly be on the weekends, but I would be off at 4:30. So I would be 10 minutes.
When is that? When is that a possible thing?
Like this month.
Okay.
Hopefully. So starting February.
So maybe February. By February we could have you back, because February's only like 2 weeks away, 1 week away.
And then maybe I might switch to a weekday shift if they hire 2 more people.
And if you do that, you'd actually be here
off on the weekends.
Yeah, completely. So
we do miss you.
We would love to have you back. And it would be
but,
great.
I'll keep you updated. But
okay, yeah. Just
nothing's official.
That's fine.
75-80% more likely than not. But.
Yeah. Just keep us updated and let us know. Sarah, how did you find out about the show?
So I met Matt at a convention when he was trooping, and we started talking, and one of the costumes I wore that weekend was a Tomb Raider costume.
Oh, okay.
And so he was like, oh, you like video games.
Tomb Raider brings people together.
Yes.
I know, right?
And so he told me about the show, and I started watching and listening, and then eventually had opinions and started emailing and calling.
Yeah. No, and sending us books.
Yes.
Which were great. And you sent us Christmas cards, and yeah, you're basically the only one we've ever gotten snail mail from.
I remember when you got the first Christmas card and you were like, this is really weird.
Yeah, we weren't expecting it. We'd never done that before. We'd never gotten that before, other than maybe from devs. Some devs had sent out Christmas cards, and you expect that, but they were sending it to me, addressed to me, because they had my business card. Whereas this one was addressed to like the guys at In-Game Chat here, and was coming to the radio station and not my house. So that was the difference. So, what do you remember? So do you remember when that was?
That was 2013.
2013.
Yeah.
So we were back on the radio then. Yeah, we were back.
Yeah,
on the,
I started watching maybe. Would have been in like the summer right after you guys got back on.
Yeah, we've done different iterations of how we've tried to broadcast this thing. It's always been any time that we were on the radio, it's always been through the radio. But we've been trying to find new ways to bring ourselves to the audience who listen. Twitch it used to be something with Justin TV. Ustream.
It was what you were on before you moved to Twitch, which spun out of Justin TV.
Yeah, it was Ustream for a while, and then Justin TV was around, and we tried that for a while, and then they spawned off Twitch, and then we went over to Twitch and started doing it there as well. But we've always tried to find, and it started with basically one camera, and then we were able to get 2, and then we tried 3, and then I upgraded my box that does all this stuff. We used to do it from this laptop. That is right here, that would not be able to do it even with one camera today. It just wouldn't be able to hold up.
Tech upgrades were one of the things you started the Patreon for.
But that's that would be a personal one for this. So honestly, since you're now part of the team, I'd rather just get you a PS4. I've been meaning to do that or find some way to do that, because you wanted to play Destiny with you for so long, because you're over there all alone on your island of Xbox.
But then y'all moved to the
and then we moved to the PC,
anyway.
So it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
But there's still stuff to play, like Horizon Zero Dawn. I know you talked about that.
Yes.
So there's plenty of other things that you can experience on the PS4. So yeah, we've only got about another 8 minutes or so. Yeah, I was hoping we'd hear from Kevin, or I was hoping we'd hear from Daniel and Dennis and James. I don't even think James is in town. I think he's still out of town. He had talked about maybe being in town for this, but I think weather conditions probably halted any kind of way for him to do that. So, yeah, so 500 episodes, 10 years, going on 11, and it's been great. It's been one of the things that I have made sure to make it to as often as possible. This past year was a little bit of me kind of letting go of that to say, hey, don't put the burden on you to have to show up every single Saturday. If you go on vacation, go on vacation. So like I use vacations like PAX, trips to Seattle, trips to San Antonio as my vacation time. But normally we don't take off on the Saturday after Thanksgiving. Normally we don't take off just before Christmas. But we were trying to expand it so that we could hit this 500th episode on the 20th instead of some of the earlier days, because it was going to come right over the holidays, and we didn't want to do that. So I was trying to make it easier for other people to show up to the show. And I did for some, at least those of you listening, and some I still couldn't figure out ways to make it happen. So it's been a lot of fun, and it's something that we will continue to do as long as people continue to listen. Trust me, the radio station doesn't need us. We need them more than they need us. So if anything were to ever happen, we would have to give up the show. So but we love doing it, and we feel it's a responsibility, since it's only I come into work 5 days a week to this building, but I still look at this thing that we do on Saturday as a separate thing, and I'm like, if I can't show up for a 1 day a week job, then I don't need to do it. And so that's kind of the way that I look at it, and I make it a point to be here. Sometimes Matt can't be here. Sometimes RJ can't be here. A lot of times, as you see now, Nate can't be here. Sometimes Sarah can't be here, but I can always be here, and as long as you guys keep listening to this thing, I will be here, still doing this show, and Matt will still be here when he can, when his job allows. I think it's fine to say you're military. I mean, people know that.
Yeah, I've said it before.
Yeah, we don't hide that fact.
Yeah, I'm in the military.
You've called from overseas before.
Yeah, I've called from Afghanistan.
Exactly. So
and I think Iraq, too.
Yeah. So sometimes he's been deployed, and sometimes he can't make it at all. Nate has a job, and thank God I was so happy when he got that job. Because, like you heard in the email.
He was mooching off of us.
Yeah, technically, one thing I will say I forgot to mention is when I got this, made me meet James, which then made me meet Jeremy, which then Jeremy made me meet Aaron, who was my old boss at my new job.
Yeah.
And so, it's all...
You're welcome.
Yeah,
technically
exactly.
I got a job
I know.
from the
but you heard in his email that he was working at a hotel in Millbrook, Prattville, and now he's not. He's much better. Much better off with what he's doing, and I'm so grateful that he got that job. And I don't fault anybody. I don't fault any one of these people for not showing up. If they can't make it, they can't make it, and for whatever reason, it's perfectly fine. I will be here. I will always be here to do this, and they will always be here when they can. And so, but that's the whole thing. As long as you guys are going to be here to listen to it, when you guys stop listening to it, when people stop showing up in the chat room, we never did a chat room roll call. We could do that real quick. You guys stop showing up in the chat room, and nobody's there, and nobody keeps writing, or nobody keeps following us on Twitter and sending messages or caring about any of that stuff, then we'll stop. But as long as you guys are doing that, we're going to keep doing this.
Because a lot of times, it's the listeners that help direct our conversation, that get us
yeah.
going. That
except for Lethal Migraine, we really don't pay attention to what he says.
I like Lethal. He's one of my favorites.
No, chat room roll call real quick. With the exception of all of us in the chat room, we've got AC Wraith, Drunk Degenerates, which is Josh, who called in, Evans 041111, Lethal Migraine, El Nouvelle, Le Nouvelle, Moltile, Mott Wackhorb, Spigot Stan, who called in, STM Fuller, and Tactus59 in the chat room. So thank you guys so much for being there and watching the show for ever how many episodes you guys have been watching the show. I know Mott Wackhorb, Kurt has been with the show from the beginning. He was in that hotel room. He was in the roll call that you heard at the beginning of the episode. So been around for a while. I'll take all these calls blind. Hey, you're on In-Game Chat. Who's this?
It's Neil from Prattville.
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Just getting off work. I got a quick question.
Yeah.
Are they going to come out with any more missions for the Star Wars VR?
I would love if they would.
I can't find anything on it.
They're not. I mean, there's nothing planned at the moment. But if they ever do, I would love it because I enjoyed the VR mission from the very first Battlefront that they did. That VR mission where you're piloting the X-wing and stuff. It's fantastic.
That was the whole reason to get a PSVR, in my opinion.
I mean, it was amazing.
That was amazing.
It was amazing to do. So they have not announced anything. They haven't. Sony is still doing the VR stuff, but they haven't announced anything that was anywhere near that. So not that we know of.
Oh, I have a lot of VR games through them, but I just haven't heard nothing anymore for those missions. And that was awesome.
Yeah, it was. Hey, we've got to run. We're about to hit the top of the hour here, but thank you for calling.
All right, thank you.
Bye-bye. Hey, you're on In-Game Chat. Who's this?
This is Michael.
I'm sorry?
Michael.
Hey, Michael.
Hey, I was just calling. I had a question. It's about video games, not exactly what y'all are talking about right now, but I just moved out by the river, way out in the country. There's no internet access. Just HughesNet, and we all know that's not real good for gaming.
No.
Satellite internet. I tried using a hotspot through my cell phone, but there's not good cell phone signal out there. My question is, do you have any recommendations for games? Because I know, like, the PlayStation, the Xbox and stuff, you have to have an internet. I was playing Civ 5, but you have to have a Steam account for that. So do you have any recommendations for games that I can play that's completely offline?
Oh, for completely offline games, you're kind of in a pickle here because most games have to have some sort of connection online. Not because they're multiplayer games, but just because they've got to, send back to home base to get a verification that you're legit or some stupid stuff like that. There's a lot of games that don't require you to be online, though. I mean, Fallout, that sort of thing, and I don't know. I mean, there's a good list of them. I'm sure there's a place you can go online and search for that. But we don't have. We are completely out of time though. So we got to run. Call us. I tell you what. Call in next week with that question so we can and do it earlier so we can get to it. But we are at the top of the hour. Terry's got to get in here, so we are done.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Thank you.
And Leia said, "Congratulations, we all look great."
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. Yeah, we have got to get out of here. We're eating into the other show's time. Wanted to get to this song real quick. I won't be able to get any kind of explanation as to why you like this.
It's pretty.
But it's really beautiful. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for 500 episodes for 10 years now. Thank you, everybody who joins us in the chat room, who shows up weekly or anytime you do show up or get our show for wherever, iTunes, any of that stuff. We're on YouTube. You can find us there. Any of those things, just go to ingamechat.net if you want to look for us. You can join all those groups we've got as well. Thank you again. 500 shows. Thank you to everybody in here. RJ, Sarah, Nate, Matt. Thank you all. James, Jeremy, Dennis, Daniel, Dana, Becky, Sam, everybody who has been in this room to be a part of this show.
We couldn't have done it without y'all.
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. This is music from Child of Light. It's called Aurora's Theme. Have a great week. We'll see you next Saturday. After we break stuff.